That's your people. Catholics trying to hide that information.
We're great at PR.
The last thing they want. I went to Catholic school, man, for a whole year. Cured me.
Well,
Fixed me up good.
That's where you get your fine sense of right and wrong from. No, wait, let's not do that.
Well, with right and wrong as far as what is right and what is wrong. With you? No, I got lucky. They beat me a little bit.
What do you mean you got lucky?
You
got unlucky. You didn't get that taste of... no, I said, just like I said earlier, if it weren't for Father Michael, I would have given far less good head. I mean,
there was a real Father Michael?
So much less... You know, he's going to get killed now, but...
Who was Father Michael?
I'm not... No, I bet...
Was a real dude?
I shouldn't...
Maybe suck his dick? For real?
Don't make me. I was quite enthusiastic about it. I fucked my English teacher too.
How old was he at the time?
I don't know. He's quite young, quite hot.
Really?
Yeah.
And so that's where it all started? With Father Michael?
No, no.
Was that post the tranny?
Yeah, it was post. So I wasn't
drag
abused
queen?
as a child or anything like that.
So
it was quite a
you already had the fivesome, and you're like, "This is all wrong. I need to talk to Father Michael." He's like, "Suck my dick and shut the fuck up." And you're like, "Religion is awesome."
You see, I really had no hope, did I? I was never going to end well.
Well, it seems like you kept stumbling into dicks. I mean,
I just kept falling on them through life.
I don't know what would have happened if a heterosexual man like me,
30 years, I've just been falling on dicks,
was in the same circumstances as you early on. I mean, obviously things would have went very different. So I'm not sure if I buy the not born this way.
You'd go down great in a gay club.
Go down?
Well, I mean, you know, you'd
How
go down. You'd
dare
go down.
you?
We have. Is that a British expression? You go down well.
No,
I don't mean oral sex.
Much. Yeah,
yeah. So go down well means you'd be popular. You'd
go
get
down
attention.
well would be like the way you would describe a meal or a drink.
Oh, like it goes down well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, we
like taking the piss.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get what the hell.
Right.
That
Like,
meant.
do you want a cup of my? Yeah. Which again is another thing gay people seem disproportionately into.
They're into peeing on each other.
Well, there seems to be
it's all sin.
Water sports.
It's all
well, this is it. You
it's
see,
all against the
this
Lord.
This is what I'm saying. People are only gay to be transgressive.
Why
They choose to be gay
away,
to be naughty.
How come you're not praying the gay away?
They choose to be gay to be naughty.
It seems like you have all
and now
the
being
right
a
components
homosexual
in place.
I know.
To pray the gay away.
I just can't
full belief
tear
and
myself
respect
away
for Christian
from the dick.
values.
Can't tear myself away from the dick.
Come on.
Enough tried.
Maybe as you get older
Maybe
and
I
your
should be
sex
celibate or
drive
something.
dries up a
I
little
always
bit.
think I would have made a good priest. Do you think I'd make a good priest? I think I'd make a good priest.
Well, you make a good priest if you think the guy that made you suck his dick was a good priest. That kind of good priest.
He was a great priest. Honestly, like he was the.
He was good other than that?
I've never had a better singing tutor. He was great.
Singing teacher.
He got notes out of me I didn't even know I could produce.
Well, he worked your plumbing.
Shattering the chandeliers, kind of.
But was he good outside of what he did? Like, was he a good religious scholar? Was he a good teacher?
I think he was just a parish priest. I mean, I
just
really
a fucking creep getting his dick sucked then.
He's gonna get lynched now.
How's he gonna get lynched? Do people know who he is?
I don't think so.
What's his name?
Well, I'm not saying anymore.
Well, how old were you at the time?
I don't know, just
you were a little kid, and he was like what?
You're trying to.
Was he in his 20s or 30s?
Yet another feminist strategy that you have adopted in addition to your language policing.
Trying to out pedophiles?
No, trying to go on this.
You were the one who was anti-pedophile earlier.
I told you it wasn't the pedophilia. I was after I lost my virginity. I was in my teens. I was in my teens.
14.
I was in my teens. Something like that.
That's what you said. 14 is pedophilia, buddy. I don't know how they rock it in merry old England.
I was in my teens.
Over here in my country, in fucking
where
you are right now,
You've never seen a 15-year-old girl at any point in your life, however old you were, you've never seen a 15-year-old girl you thought was hot.
Yeah, when I was 15.
No, when you were 25. When you were 25.
I'm not retarded, dude.
When you were 25, when you were 30, you will have seen girls about 15 you thought were hot.
No,
of course
I thought they were little kids.
No, you didn't.
I thought, damn, she's gonna be hot, but I didn't want to fuck her.
Bullshit. Like
not bullshit at all.
Look,
you can't tell me what I was born into.
I think if you're 14...
Born like this.
You were born this way. You were born a dreary nitpicker.
No, you're trying to make it so I'm a fucking creeper like you. No, I'm not into 14-year-olds. How dare you, sir? No.
I'm not into 14-year-olds.
Well, that
Don't
fucking
put this
guy
on
that
me.
you said's a great guy. He was into 14-year-olds.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he's a terrible person.
No.
He certainly was.
I was a very mature 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, in your case, he got it right. You got the right guy to molest.
It wasn't molestation.
That's absolutely molestation.
It wasn't molestation. It was perfectly consensual.
I don't think it is when they're 14.
When I was 14, trust me, I was the predator. I was the predator.
You were the predator. You were chasing after the priest?
I was the instigator.
He was trying to stay close to God?
I was chasing everybody. I was aggressively seeking out sexual company of adults because I knew it would horrify people, because I wanted sort of power over them. It was my way of rebelling. My way of rebelling. I was the predator at 14, let me tell you.
Do you think that's what's going on with that guy who directed X-Men? Bunch of
Bryan Singer.
Yeah, a bunch of 14-year-old predators going after that poor man.
I'm not sure it's the case with him. No.
That's a guy.
You know, I lived in Hollywood a while ago.
Did you?
Briefly. And,
did you go to one of his parties?
I went to other people who I won't name of a similar stature in Hollywood. I went to their boat parties and to their house parties and things, and some of the things I have seen have beggared belief.
Yeah? Can you give us like a...
Well, just... I don't want to be indiscreet about specific people.
Right, you don't have to
because
do
I think
that.
it's going
Just
to
dance
be,
around the facts.
Yeah, dangerous. But I can tell you the truth without dropping anyone in it.
Okay.
I mean, some of the boys there were very young. Very young.
And this is really recently?
I don't remember... No, like, I don't know, 8 years ago. I don't remember...
Statute of limitations.
I don't remember whether I ever met Bryan Singer or whether I even knew who he was then. But I knew other people of similar stature, as I say, and there were some very young boys around at that time. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of...
twinks.
A lot of twinks taking drugs and having unsafe sex with older men, and some of these boys were very young.
What did you...
Something.
Oh, right. Yes, he was.
And you sat there and he touched you, and did you feel molested in a way? What? Were you molested in a sense because you were 13?
Because I was kind of willing. I thought he was pretty attractive.
Right.
And he was.
And you wanted to know why you felt this way.
Yes.
Today's lesson, how to turn a blonde arm brown.
Now, wait a minute. What does he do? So he starts touching you how?
I don't know if I need to hear all
No,
that.
I mean, does he put a hand on your knee, or does he put his arm around your shoulder?
Around my shoulders, and then,
He blew you.
Then he started, touching the private parts. And,
was he gazing into your eyes the whole time? Was he saying anything?
Oh, yeah, he was telling me about, how
he's gay.
Works.
And what did he do? Did he perform oral sex on you?
It was a hand job.
Hand job.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
But did he? Any kissing?
Yes, oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, who wants a hand job without kissing?
Well, I don't know how these things work.
And did you have multiple affairs with him during the summer? Was this one of many liaisons?
You're not quite sure. It was both wonderful and scary and kind of intimidating and delightful. I mean, all those opposites,
Right.
And
were you pining away for him all summer?
Well, that occasion never occurred, but it was. There was an element of scariness at the same time because you're very young, and the whole thing is. I mean,
you think he was worried you would tell other people?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Had you had an orgasm before?
No, that was the first time.
Wow.
First time.
Experience with another man when you were talking. It was at summer camp, and it was with a counselor.
Right.
And you talk about
an older man.
An older. How much older was he?
19 years old.
And how old were you?
I was 14.
It's very thrilling, I guess.
Yeah, he was a cougar.
Yeah. But what you say is, at the time it was awkward, it was uncomfortable, it was your first time, whatever. But
scary.
But
delicious.
That's the word. You said, I can go back now and just remember the delicious parts. So you still think back to that 19-year-old guy when you were 14 and it's exciting to you?
It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I remembered him vividly. I hadn't seen him after summer camp.
Mm-hmm.
About...
Very muscular guy?
Muscular.
Yeah.
Blonde. Very toned.
Yeah.
And what particularly was exciting was he had blonde forearm hair, and he was tan. That glistened.
Okay.
That's when what caught my eye when I first saw him.
Right.
He had his T-shirt on, but you can see that he had great pectorals. The T-shirt was tight.
Yes.
And then to see it off, and his whole gorgeous body.
Very exciting.
And Adonis, yeah. But I hadn't seen him after summer camp for like about 15 years. And I was watching the late night news, and one of those people I recognized.
Instantly.
It was him. But now he was not an Adonis.
Oh, no.
And I was so shattered.
Yeah, distraught by this.
He was the one.
Yeah.
The first one.
Right. That sounds like you did very well for yourself to start. So did having a guy that was this wonderful, did that screw you up for a while from other dudes? Because I would imagine a 14-year-old guy, like if I was 14 and I was with a 19-year-old developed hot chick, I couldn't go back to 14-year-old girls after that, right?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No.
And that was a clip from the doc when you had your first, when you got your cherry pop, basically.
It wasn't popped. It exploded.
I love it. Wow.
What did your parents say?
Oh, they didn't know about it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
You think I'd tell?
No. Yeah.
Daddy, Mommy, you know what happened at summer camp?
Yeah.
I had an explosive feeling.
On the cover, Mary Kay Letourneau, the teacher from Seattle, who is in jail because she is in love. That's how I view it. I admit that it's unorthodox. She is 35. The boy is 14. He was younger when it started. But the big story this week.
Has he been bar mitzvahed?
Have I?
No, is he?
Oh. Okay. But she is pregnant again. That was the story this week. With the second child by this boy. So basically they're having a family and they're keeping the mother in jail because she won't conform to what society feels should be the perfect American family.
Yeah, it's perfect. My dad's 14-year-old older than me.
Absolutely sickening.
What is sickening?
A woman who's over 20 years older and she raped this kid.
Raped?
Well.
Come on. She forced? How do you know? And how can you?
Well, how do you know that she didn't rape him?
How can a woman
know that she didn't seduce him?
How can a woman rape a man?
I think that an older woman can manipulate a young kid, and I don't think it's really healthy. I don't think it's healthy for a kid who's going to be 14 with 2 kids out in the world. I think those children will grow up fairly damaged. I think that kid's going to grow up fairly damaged.
So you're on her side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was not charged. I know it wasn't rape. There is a
statutory
rape.
Child molest, maybe? I'm not sure.
It was something. It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape. And when we get all the information, somebody will tell me in my ear. All I'm trying to get you to understand is when we're talking about what someone did and what they were charged with, we have to say what it actually was, not what we think it was.
What he said he did. He gave her Quaaludes. He gave her champagne. She was drugged. She was 13 years old. He answered. Here's a transcript. But that's what I'm saying. You're 13 years old. She was still a child.
Initially he was charged with rape. Go ahead. And then he pled guilty to having sex with a minor. Okay? And he went to jail. And when they let him out,
45 days.
And when they let him out, he said, you know what, this guy's going to give me 100 years in jail. I'm not staying. And that's why he left. So that's why I wanted to be really clear, because I wanted to know exactly what we were talking about.
And I'm going, does that make it okay to, you know, instead of staying and fighting, to say, you know, he's going to give me 100 years, I'm out of here?
I don't know if it's okay, but what we were talking about was what he did. And that's what I wanted to clear up. That's all I wanted to clear up, because I don't like it when we're passionate about something and we don't have all the facts.
Okay, so he was charged with statutory rape. So should he be prosecuted now? I believe yes, because the crime has not changed. I know she wants to move on, but what does it say about crimes that are still being committed against children?
Well, she forgives him, but forgiveness is not permission, and forgiveness doesn't mean he didn't break the law. So I agree with you, Sherry.
And if, this is a point somebody brought up backstage, if he was not famous, would we be protecting him as much as we are? Because his friend Otto Weisinger said, you know, millions and millions of people love his work. He's a brilliant guy, and he made a little mistake 32 years ago. What a shame for Switzerland, said Otto Weiser, Polanski's friend.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, again, you know, we're a different kind of society. We see things differently. The world sees 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds in the rest of Europe, they're seen oftentimes.
Well, I wonder what Otto would say if that was his 13-year-old daughter.
Well, Sherry, I don't know, but I do know that not everybody agrees with the way that we see things. Now, would I want my 14-year-old having sex with somebody? Not necessarily, no.
No.
You know, but I will tell you that I'm not surprised that that he hasn't come back. I'm not surprised that he didn't come back under the guise that he would have 31 years ago. Will he get a different kind of feel now? Maybe.
I
don't know.
I have a 13-year-old niece, and I know my 13-year-old niece.
I have a 13-year-old granddaughter.
I know, but I'm not saying anybody doesn't. I'm just giving my story. And I know my 13-year-old niece thinks she knows everything. But I know that if a 45-year-old man drugged my 13-year-old niece, I would go after him with everything in my power.
Where is the mother in this? Why isn't anybody talking
and that's what I go. Why? And I do say, why would the mother? What mother would let her child go in a grown man's home by herself to take pictures?
This was a group of men that were somewhat notorious with women, and Mama took the baby there.
So maybe everybody will end up in court. Maybe the mama will end up in court, and Roman will end up in court, and hopefully we will not.
Goes to Roman Polanski.
Yes, Roman Polanski, I'm very sorry that he's in jail.